Hi. So at this point, we should have had class and you have sort of digitally met everyone, hopefully. And I have shown you some samples of some design inspiration. So when you start this assignment, you can always refer back to those images. I will have left them in Blackboard so you can be inspired by them. And when you launch into this assignment, I specify in the assignment instructions that you should do some sketches. So you should get a piece of paper and do some sketches. To go right on the computer, it just really limits what you can do because you start doing what the computer sets up for you. For example, looking at this blank screen right now, we can see that there's a margin in there. Maybe you don't want that margin. In fact, I am going to go get rid of that margin right now. If I go up to Layout, Margins, and I make this 0, that will change the top. Notice there's this chain here. If I open that chain, it makes all of those dimensions 0. So now we don't have any margins. We just have this piece of paper. And that little locking link thing you will see in Adobe programs again and again. So what your assignment is to pick a quote and to put it on this piece of paper and to design it somehow. So I've picked one of the quotes. I'm going to go and open up the text box and I am just going to paste in this quote that I decided to work with, okay? So when you open this up, it starts out at the default type size, so it says 13 here, and it gives me Minion Pro. So I can change this to any size I want by going up here and changing it, say, to 48. If I change it to 60, still fitting on the page, let me change it to 72. So it fell off the page. Notice this little red plus sign there. That plus sign tells me that there's more text that's missing. So I just go and I make my box bigger. If I go and shrink my box, that plus sign shows up again. Okay? So when I'm manipulating type, I start by putting it into one box, but I might want to pull this text apart and put it in different boxes. So I'm going to take out a good idea. I'm going to copy it and paste it. So you can go and say copy and then create a new box, and you can go to paste, or you can do Command C and Command P. So you can see what your command keys are right here. So if I hit this little symbol's Command C, that copies, Command V, paste, and there's a whole bunch of command keys down here. I do not rely on command keys very often. I have some that I use all the time because I can hold them in my brain, but I can't hide all of them in my brain. So if there's something that I all of a sudden find that I'm doing again and again, I'll look at what the command key is and try to remember it. Okay, but Command C for copy and Command X for cut and Command V for paste are very popular. And another command key that you will always want to know is Command Z. With the PC, this would be alternate. And the reason why is that if you make a mistake and you go, all of a sudden you can just do Command Z and it undoes what you just did. So I can paste it again. Okay? And again, if you couldn't remember Command Z, you can go up here. It says undo paste text. Or I can go and undo create text frames, and it can keep going back, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, until where I started from. Okay, so I am going to go back here, cut out this type, put it in a new text box, and paste it in there. All right, so this stop, I think I want to make it a little, sorry, S-T-O-P. That's not S-T-O-P. So I may want to make this stand out in a different way. Maybe I'm going to cut that out, create a new text box, and paste it in there. And I'm going to think about what typefaces I want to use. So here is the typeface that is Minion Pro as the default. And so I want to choose something that is a sans serif typeface. There's two major types of typefaces. What we're looking at now is a sans serif, meaning no little feet, no serifs. I'm going to go to try Avenir. And so I can pick Avenir, and then I can also go down here and I can pick a different weight. We use the word weight for typography. So black is thicker than heavy. So here is this word in a sans serif typeface. This is a serif typeface. These are serifs, the little feet. So this is without the feet, and this is with the feet. Okay, so if I also want to make this bigger, I can go and select this type, and you saw me before, I was going and selecting within this list of options, or I can go and just increase or decrease. Okay, so I'm going to, another way that I can do this is I am going to hit Shift, Option, Command, and while I'm holding those, I can drag this out more. I'm making a note to myself, I need to find out what that is on the PC. Option, Command, okay. So I made that bigger. I want to tighten it up a little bit too, so I'm going to select this text, and you see here, this is what's called kerning. And I can tighten that space up a little bit. I can also see the way the S and the T are kind of close already, but this P and the O I want to be a little bit closer, so I might do that. And I can also put in any number as well. So I think that is pretty good right there. Maybe I'm going to close up the T and the O. You can spend hours doing this, but we won't spend hours right now. So I'm thinking that I want maybe to have this word crop off the page. So if I want to see what that looks like, I can hit the W key. Okay, so that's why W is so great, because you don't get the full effect looking at this, trying to figure out what you want. So I'm saying nothing can stop a good idea, and I want good idea to be a little bit more of a flourish. Actually, I think I want idea to be more of a flourish. So if I have this word selected and I scroll down with all these different fonts, I can see it will, sometimes a little delayed, but it will jump into the font that I'm picking. This means that that font isn't available in maybe in our language or such. So many choices. Let me try this. Okay, so there I go. So that's a different kind of feel. And I'm not sure how a good idea works with that. So let me take a good idea out. Again, I selected it and I did Command X, and now I'm doing Command V to paste it. And so I want idea to feel really strong. And maybe I want good to fit in there. See the way the G can fit in there? Sometimes I like to connect things, but that idea, the I and the D, need a little more space, so I might pull it out to make it a little bit bigger and see how that works. I nudge it with my arrow keys. So I kind of like the way that looks, but if I do that, stop is so overpowering it, and the good idea is really what I want to stand out. So to grab two things at once, I can click hit the Shift key and click and hit the Shift key, or I can drag over 2 items at once. Again, I'm using this black arrow, and then I'm going to hit Shift Option Command again so that I can drag these 2 out together and see how big I want them to be. Okay, so that stop, I'm struggling with it a bit because I like the idea of having it run off the page, but I don't want it to be too big. Now I'm looking at this and I'm kind of liking the way I'm starting to get this box going over here, and maybe I'll play with nothing in a different way. So I did some sketches about what I wanted, but as I start playing with the typography, I want to free myself up to play and do some other more creative things. So nothing can now. Maybe I want to also use the same typeface as a good. So this right now is Minion Pro, and so is this actually. Say I had changed, let me show you something. So if I decide I want it to be stop, which I don't really, this eyedropper is a wonderful tool. I can go and select what I want to change, use the eyedropper, and click on that. And what it's done is it has copied the size and the font of that. That's why you couldn't see it, because it made it too big. But I don't like the way that looks. I just wanted to show you that how the dropper works. So I just hit Command A to select all that. I'm going to use the eyedropper again and grab a good so that I can get that typeface in there. But this is too big. I want to see the way it's 124 points. I can, as I said, pick a number or go up and down, but I can also just go in here and I could make this say 100 points. You can put in a size that you want to. Okay, so here I'm playing with the typography a bit, and I can again hide it. Maybe I don't like that stop coming off, but maybe somehow I can make it more arresting. And I'm wondering if what I want to do is I'm going to select this and I am going to make it a tint of black. So it's black here. I can change that tint to be maybe 60%. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe I want this nothing to be in front of that. So again, if you remember, I go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So do I like the way that looks? See the way, I'm going to zoom in here. If you remember, it's Command Spacebar. And see the way those are almost hitting? You want to pay attention to details. So I'm hitting my arrow key to get it just to line up. No, that's not working. I'm going to try to play with that a little bit more to get it just, sometimes you get sort of stuck in this spot where it's not going to what you want to do. There's something that's, I believe, the default that is snap to image. So I'm going to go to View, and I am going to see where it says Snap to Document Grid. I'm going to see if that will give me a little more freedom. Yep, see? So again, that was under View. So under View, if you're having trouble managing some things, you can go there. See, details are important sometimes. Okay, so